Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Daf Yomi Ketuvoth Mem Tet Amid Bet. The Gemara writes that there's a takana that a person has to sustain his children and take care of them and pay for their clothing, their food, and their shelter, etc. One of those halachot that hopefully most parents, even on their own, are going to take care of it. A fascinating question comes up. Of course, we know we have an obligation to take care of our children physically and spiritually. We have to send them to yeshivas to learn Torah and midos, derech, etc. Big shaila that comes up is, where does Maasair fit in with all this? Can I go ahead and count my tuition for my children as Maasair? It's a very serious shaila, and we'll just give an overview. Of course, halacha Maasair, one must talk with his or her posek about the shaila. There are a lot of variables involved. Just to give a bit of an overview, the Shulchan paskins that one must teach his children Torah, and he has to hire people to go ahead and pay for that, whether it's a personal Rabbi or now with the yeshiva system, the Cheder, Talmud Torah system. So one must pay for that. So that once you have a chiv, an obligation, then you cannot use Maasair money on obligation. Can I use Maasair money for my tefillin, for my tzitzis, for my lulav? Of course, the answer is no. I have an obligation to buy tefillin and tzitzis and lulav, and I cannot use that Maasair money for that. So I have an obligation to go ahead and educate my children. Once I have such an chiyuv to educate my children, and I cannot use that Maasair money for that chiyuv. The question is, a few variables that are involved that the post can deal with are the following. One, it's my chiyuv to pay for malami, the teacher, for all of my child's learning. There are shita in the Shulchan seems to say I'm chayiv to pay for Torah shebechtav, which means teaching him chumash and maybe all of Tanakh. What about Torah Sheba'al Peh? So it could be an ikar din from the straight law. I would not be chayiv to pay money to teach Torah Sheba'al Peh, only Torah Shebechtav. So maybe that's a possibility, that money that goes for Torah Sheba'al Peh, maybe that I would not have to pay, although the poskim Sahaivet Halaivi and others say that that's really would not be proper. But it's a possible avenue for someone who's in dire straits, maybe. Another possibility is, at what age? Until what age am I chayiv to go ahead and pay for my child's education? He's already in base medrash, he is 19, 20. So that money I'm chayiv to pay for him to continue to learn. Maybe I'm not chayiv. If I'm not chayiv to pay, so then that would be considered to be Maasair. That's another issue that the post can deal with as well. Another factor is, wait a second, if he's in a dorm now, what about the money that goes for his food and for his room, which I would be paying for at home anyway? So post can discuss that as well, to separate the cost of living versus the yeshiva itself. So these are all factors that are involved. Just to sum up a few major points. One is chayav to go ahead and take care of his children, both physically and spiritually. Can he count the money he spends on the child's chinuch for Maasair? The variables are the following. One, if he's chayav to do a mitzvah, that cannot count as Maasair. Two, we need to look into what are the chiyuvim here, and the two variables are the nature of the Torah that you're teaching him, to differentiate between Torah Shebechtav, Torah Sheba'al Peh, where some want to say that it could be technically you're not chayav Torah Sheba'al Peh, and therefore that money maybe could be considered as Maasair. The Sahaivet Halaivi and others are not happy about that, certainly not lachatchila. And another option is until what age, where some want to say that once he's an independent learner, then you're no longer chayav to go ahead and teach him Torah, not chayav to pay for that, and therefore maybe that money, aside from the cost of living, maybe that be considered Maasair. This is just some general ideas. Of course, halacha Maasair, one must talk to his or her posek. Shalom.